Hi everyone! So this year is the 400th anniversary of Shakespeare's death, and Books in My Bag are putting on a campaign this Saturday calling it Shakespeare Saturday, and they were kind enough to send me this lovely tote bag which says "The Bard is my bag" and has a really awesome Shakespeare print on it. So I thought I'd make this week entirely about Shakespeare. So the first video this week on Monday is going to be, which is today, is going to be about my 5 favorite Shakespeare plays, and then on Thursday I'm going to be talking about my favorite Shakespeare adaptations. So the first play I'm going to talk about is actually the first Shakespeare play that I ever read. I probably had seen Shakespeare before this. My family is very big theater goers, and I feel like I definitely had seen a few Shakespeare productions, but this is the one that stands out in my memory, and it is Twelfth Night. I read this when I was 14 in grade 9. Little wee Alicia read this in her grade 9 English class and absolutely loved this. This is one of my favorite plays. It is absolutely hilarious. I am really glad that my English teacher in grade 9 picked Twelfth Night as the selection as opposed to some of the other ones, because it, as an introduction to Shakespeare, it made me realize that Shakespeare could be really funny. Twelfth Night tells the story of twins Sebastian and Viola who end up getting separated in a storm and washed ashore, and Viola ends up parading around as Sebastian, kind of as, like, you know, as a boy to kind of protect herself, and there's all kinds of mistaken identity and like crazy plots, and it's absolutely hilarious. So this was like an excellent introduction to Shakespeare for me. So if you haven't read this play, I highly recommend it. So next up is one that I actually read in my first year of university, and I saw it performed this summer for the first time, and it's actually a kind of rewrite of an earlier play. Shakespeare does this a lot, and I read it in my Transformations of Ancient Literature class. So it's based on a Plautus play called The Brothers Menechmus, and it is the Comedy of Errors. Like Twelfth Night, it is obviously a comedy, but it also deals with twins and separated twins and mistaken identities. I saw this in the park at High Park in Shakespeare, like in Toronto this summer, and had forgotten how hilarious this play was. When I was in Toronto this summer, I was like, I just really feel like, you know, it's hard to get down to see these plays in the park, but they're absolutely fantastic, and I'm so happy I did, because it kind of rekindled my love for this one. I mean, I absolutely love the original The Brothers Menechmus by Plautus. I think it's fantastic, but Shakespeare kind of takes it to the next level. Like, he makes it even more insane, if that's a way, like, a good thing. Like, he just kind of ramps up the comedy in it, and it's absolutely hilarious. And the way that it was performed when I saw it this summer, just kind of, it won a high degree of love in my heart. So next up is a tragedy, and I read this one in grade 11, and this is the only part of the class that I enjoyed, and my main frustration is that none of the work that we did on this play actually counted towards our final grade. As I've mentioned many times, I had awful, horrible, the worst English teachers in high school. It's a wonder I still like to read, to be entirely honest. But this play is Macbeth. I think Macbeth is my favorite of the, like, tragedies. I really enjoy the fact that J.R.R. Tolkien actually pulled inspiration from this for the Ents for Lord of the Rings, because he saw the part where they kind of become the forest and move it up to the castle to kind of sneak up on Macbeth, and he was like, no, this would be way cooler if they were actual trees that just destroyed things. That cemented it in my heart. I have certain parts of it memorized, so double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron bubble. Eye of Newton, wing of bat, hair of dog, and tongue of cat. I have that part memorized. I think about that every time I'm like mixing something in the kitchen. If I'm baking, I'm like, I just have that running through my head. I just absolutely love this play. I think it's so dramatic. It's got really, like, Lady Macbeth is just such a strong, fantastic female character. Like, I want to see, you know, I just love Lady Macbeth. I think she wins my heart for unlikable characters. I think this was the start of my love of unlikable characters. Next up is one that I didn't study or, like, do in school at all, but the performance was so special to me that this kind of became one of my favorite plays, and it is The Tempest. I did read it before I went to go see it, but I took my mom to go see it in Stratford, Ontario. They do a festival every year, and I got to see Christopher Plummer, Academy Award winning Christopher Plummer as Prospero. Just gonna let that sink in for a minute. Yeah. Obviously, this kind of filled me with joy, and like, I just love The Tempest because of this. The performance was just absolutely fantastic, and it just kind of won my heart that way. So the final one, I'm kind of cheating here, and I'm picking 2 plays because I saw 2 really great performances of these plays, and I do really enjoy them, so I'm just gonna, they're kind of tied in my heart. And to be fair, I also, guys, I haven't read every Shakespeare out there, so these are kind of like my favorite Shakespeares so far, because I still have to experience a whole lot more. So the first one is Julius Caesar, which I read in my Transformations of Ancient Literature class. He pulls a lot from source texts and like actually rips off like entire sections of Plutarch for this play. But it's still really great. It should really be called Brutus, let's be entirely honest. Brutus is the main character of this play, but I love this because I love classical history and I just think it's fantastic. I saw it performed in the park this summer as well. They always put on 2 plays in the summer. So Comedy of Errors, and then they also did Julius Caesar, and it was really well done. They tried to like modernize it a bit, and they had Cicero kind of being like on a megaphone and kind of doing propaganda, and it was really interesting. And then the other play is King Lear, which I saw performed by Colin Feore, and it was also at the Stratford Festival, and it was just really well done. It was the first, we did it for my birthday one year, and actually I ended up seeing 3 plays, which was a little bit too much, but we saw, King Lear was the first play that we saw in the afternoon, and then we saw A Midsummer Night's Dream that night, and then Alice Through the Looking Glass the next day. It was a bit too much plays, but I think I absolutely adored this because we got to see it first, so I wasn't fatigued by it. I really, really enjoy King Lear as a play, as a tragedy. I just think it's so heart-wrenching and upsetting and just beautiful. So those are my current favorite Shakespeare plays. Obviously, as I haven't read all of the Shakespeare, it is due to change. Let me know in the comments down below what Shakespeare you guys enjoy. Do you prefer to read Shakespeare? Do you prefer to study Shakespeare? Do you prefer to see Shakespeare? Personally, I prefer to study and see it. I'm not huge on just reading Shakespeare for the sake of reading Shakespeare. I like to read it when I know I'm going to be discussing it, or when I know I'm going to be seeing a performance of it. So I will see you guys later on in the week with another Shakespeare video. Bye!